Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Caleb here with Caleb's 5 Picks of the Week, where every week we pick 5 games around the world of sports. This week and every week coming up, I'm going to have a guest here with me, Tyler Pipp.
Hello, world.
Tyler is going to give us some information on some fantasy football players and also give his opinions on the same games that I am. This week, again, we're going to be picking some NFL games. There's some good ones in here, and then there's also some easy picks. So let's get into it. Last week, I was unfortunately 1-4 for my picks. I was strongly disappointed by the Patriots and the Packers, mainly. Frankly, very angry. I did get 2 things right, though. I did predict that Calvin Ridley would have a huge week, and he did with a 3-touchdown performance against the Saints, where they lost in overtime. And then I also predicted that Fitzmagic would continue, and it did. Didn't lead them to a victory over the Steelers, but Ryan Fitzpatrick did have another 400-yard plus game, which makes him the first quarterback in NFL history to have 3 straight games of 400-plus yards. The first game this week is going to be the Vikings versus the Rams. The Rams being 3-0, I really don't see a reason why they should not continue being undefeated this year so far. I think that they will beat the Vikings 24-21. I think the Rams' offense is just too explosive at this point in the year, and they're trying to they're finding their rhythm pretty easily and quickly. What's your input, Tyler?
I agree with you. I think the Rams are going to keep rolling. I think they're going to win again. I think if the Vikings are going to have a chance, Kirk Cousins is going to have a really big game because they're not going to be able to run on that D-line of the Rams. It's too good.
Yeah, I agree. Second game that we will be predicting is Packers versus Bills. Last week, I made the unfortunate mistake of picking the Packers over the Redskins, and the Redskins blew out the Packers in easy fashion. Regardless of what you want to say about the roughing the passer rule, the Packers still lost, and that's what happened. Aaron Rodgers, I think, will have a bounce-back week. I mean, he wasn't that good last week, to be frank. No one really on the Packers was that good. I think that they will beat the Bills, though. The Bills were the laughingstock of the NFL for a couple weeks there, but now somehow turned around and won. So, I mean, it's a tough pick because the Packers are kind of on the decline and the Bills are kind of bouncing back. So I don't really know what team is going to carry which momentum into the next week. But I do have the Packers winning 20-16. I hope they don't let me down this week. Tyler, what do you have to say?
I think the Bills kind of had a really good week. I think Josh Allen was playing really good last week, but it's probably not going to carry over into the next game. I think the Packers are going to win by at least 10 points.
All right. I agree. I think that 10 points is probably around where the spread will be. The third game this week is going to be the Bears versus the Buccaneers. My Chicago Bears. I'm a Bears fan, openly. You can hate all you want, but Mitchell Trubisky is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Mark my words.
I don't know about that one.
The Bears have the number 1 defense in the NFL. A lot of people told me before the season started, in my own fantasy league, I took the Bears first. Out of everybody taking defenses, I took the Bears. And people called me crazy, and they questioned my sanity and said I'm just a bandwagoning Bears fan. But look where that led me. The Bears are the number 1 fantasy defense and the number 1 pass defense and rush defense. I'm pretty sure there's the number 1 defense overall in the NFL. So I think that the Bears, although Ryan Fitzpatrick did continue his magic, I think that he will actually not be starting this week. I think that they will go to Jameis Winston to look for some sort of good game and give them some sort of grounding on what their whole quarterback situation is. But I do think the Bears will dominate in orderly fashion and beat the Buccaneers 21-13. Tyler?
I think I wouldn't say the Bears are going to dominate. There's going to be a few defensive touchdowns, I can tell you that.
You have them winning 35-27. That's dominating. It's
not dominating. It's a one-score game. I mean, I think the Bears are going to take a big lead in the first half, but I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to...
I think the Bears will continue to be leading in the division.
Ryan Fitzpatrick might throw a few picks this week. Don't look for Ryan Fitzpatrick to keep continuing. He's just not going to do as good this week against the Bears defense.
I agree. I do think that he'll have a good game. I'm probably going to think that he's probably going to cut maybe his yardage in half and maybe get a 200-yard game. If he does play, I do think that Jameis Winston will play, though, and I think that he will have a struggle bus of an evening or day in Chicago.
Khalil Mack will punish him.
Yeah. All right. The fourth game of the week is going to be the Sunday night football game. It's going to be the Ravens versus the Steelers. This one's tough because the Ravens are just the Ravens. They're so mediocre. It's just hard to pick them to win any game, but it's hard to not pick them just because you really don't know what they're going to do. I mean, their defense has been atrocious and it has been decent performing all throughout the year so far. The Steelers should have the best offense in the NFL. They should, but they're not playing like it. They need to figure their stuff out. I'm still going to pick the Steelers. I really don't want to. The Steelers are going to win 19-13. Kind of a weird score because I just think it's going to be a weird game. I think both teams are going to struggle in the first half. I think whatever team wins the third quarter is probably going to come out with the momentum in the fourth and then carry on to the win.
I agree with the Steelers that they're going to win, but I have them winning 35-10 because
you think they're going to figure it out.
They're going to figure it out, definitely. Sunday Night Football. No better place to figure it out.
It's the stage.
Antonio Brown. Look for Antonio Brown to just
Joe Flacco.
Toast them.
Joe Flacco. I think that's a possibility. The Steelers could blow the Ravens out, but I just see it being a closer game.
Business is booming.
The fifth game and final game this week is going to be the Monday Night Football game. Chiefs versus the Broncos. This one is the easiest game to pick this week, for me at least. I think that the Chiefs will absolutely murder the Broncos. I do think that the Broncos offense will show some signs of light. Something that really, the Broncos aren't known for is scoring a lot of points. They've been known to kind of just depend on their defense. But I think that it'll be a shootout. But I think that it'll be won by the Chiefs 42-30. I see Tyreek Hill having a big day. Patrick Mahomes, Tyler loves Patrick Mahomes. I see Patrick Mahomes having another big day. He's been playing very well this season. It's going to be a pretty easy win for the Chiefs. I think they'll stay undefeated.
Yeah, I agree. Chiefs, dominating win over the Broncos. Who even is the running back for the Broncos?
I couldn't tell you.
Nope. So,
couldn't tell you.
Broncos offense, yeah. Chiefs
it's
offense,
average. They have an average offense at best. Average at best. I just think that it will be a shootout. I think that will be a high scoring game. So I think that the Broncos will pass the ball quite a bit and try and match the tone of what the Chiefs are trying to do. I just think that they'll try and do something. I think that the Broncos will find something good out of this game to take away. Maybe they'll discover that maybe they can pass the ball a little bit. Now it is time for a new segment on the podcast where Tyler is going to give his fantasy players of the week. He's going to kind of explain what he's going to be doing weekly on the podcast, and I'll also be giving a little bit of my input on things as well. So Tyler, take it away.
All right, so I'm going to be making 3 picks today. It'll be the person I think is going to have a really good week this week. Could be a star, could be a breakout. Somebody who's going to probably not continue how good they've been doing, and then my sleeper, somebody that you probably haven't picked up off the waiver wire yet, and you probably should. So, for my star, I have Saquon Barkley. This week he's playing the Saints, and in 2 of the last 3 weeks, they've given up 40-plus points. And if you're in a PPR league, Saquon Barkley's most likely going to get 10 receptions. So, he's a really good choice if you're in PPR leagues. All right, my bust this week is Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like I said earlier in the podcast, the Bears defense is, I hate to say it, being a Packers fan, but it is the best defense in the league. And
easily the best defense.
It's the best defense he's seen so far, so it's going to be a challenge for him.
I don't think he's going to play.
And he might not even play, so you might want to put him on your bench for this week. And then my sleeper is Geronimo Allison for, the Packers, best team in the league. He's playing the Bills. They're 1-2, but they're gonna bounce back. Aaron Rodgers is good.
They're not even winning the division.
But Geronimo Allison, they're playing the Bills.
Mitchell Trubisky's playing like the best quarterback in the division right now.
Whatever. Geronimo Allison is my sleeper. They're playing the Bills. And he's been on the verge of a breakout for the last 3 weeks, so I'm saying this week's going to be a pretty big week for Geronimo Allison.
All right, and that is Tyler's fantasy picks for this week. I agree with pretty much all of them. I don't really have much input on Geronimo Allison. I just don't like the Packers, and I don't think the Packers are having a good year, and I think that this little mediocre football that they're playing is going to continue. So that's all I have to say.
We beat the Bears.
Our picks, if you see us in the hallway or anything, feel free to express yourself in any way, shape, or form at me. I will respond and fire back with some roasts and try and debate with you. I love debating. And that has been Caleb's 5 Picks of the Week. Thank you for listening. Tyler, what do you have to say?
Bye.
Bye. All right. Thank you. Have the best day of your life.